Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of On the Horizon. This week, I've got John McAdams from the Big Game Hunting Podcast. Been in the industry a really long time. If you remember, we've had John on last year with our podcast. And so now we're doing a big wrap up. He's been doing and shooting the 25 Creedmoor this year. So thought that would be an awesome topic for us to cover today. John, thanks for jumping on with us on the podcast here.
Derrick, it is great to be back on. I was on with you 2024 and you asked me, hey, what's on your horizon? And I said, hey, I got a trip to Africa coming up. And so that trip is now in the rearview mirror. And one of the rifles I brought was a Horizon Venatic and 25 Creedmoor.
What do you think of the 20? Just start off with, what do you think about the 25 Creedmoor?
I thought it was a very fun round. I really enjoyed hunting with it, shooting with it. We could talk about more about this here in a minute, but my son used that rifle. He's 9 years old, killed his first big game animal with it. In Africa, shot an impala. It was a lot of fun. He shot that rifle like he'd been doing it his whole life. Yeah, so
I love it. Man, that's what's so fun about the Creedmoor, just in general. Just such low recoil, really easy to use, and just fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I sat down and I kind of penciled out the math and everything to kind of really see what the difference is between the 25 and the 6. And it's a bunch of just real small differences in favor of the 25. It shoots a higher BC bullet, a little faster, and has a little bit less recoil.
Yep.
And so it's not a giant difference, but in all those little ways, it has those advantages.
Man, and I wonder so much. We've said this a lot around here because I'm shooting the 25 now for the Mammoth Sniper Challenge. So I've been putting a lot of rounds through it, trying to kind of get my head recalibrated right because I'm so used to the 22. But man, I wonder if the 25 had come out first, if we would have seen the 6.5 or the 6.
Mm-hmm.
It has got such an interesting sweet spot, in my opinion. If you don't own a 6.5 or a 6 Creedmoor, to my opinion, just buy the 25. Don't worry about the other two.
I think you're right. Had it come out first, that would have been the deal. But I think we wouldn't have had the 25 without all the stuff we learned from the 6.5.
That's a good point.
And all of that stuff. Because for so long, you couldn't get high BC bullets in the 25 because almost nothing would shoot them. And
yeah, exactly. I know. I wish I had some of these bullets in a fastest 25-06. It would be fun.
That's right. But, I was actually talking to a lady last night talking about just trends in the industry and whatnot. And you saw, say in the 90s, a lot of real lightweight 25 caliber stuff, real popular in Wyoming. Because the 6.5s weren't popular then, but you put a 90 grain or 100 grain bullet in a 25-06 or 257 Weatherby and it shoots like a laser, man.
Oh yeah, man. You had a lot of guys in the Predator world running that. Long action but fast. Oh yeah, no, 100%. So I think it's a fun. People ask me well, should I buy a 25 or it's just all hype or whatever. Man, we see in Texas. It's really nostalgic. A lot of guys like the 257 Roberts, and this is just a better version of that you can find really good factory ammo for. So speaking of factory ammo, what did you use going to Africa? Tell us a little bit about that trip.
Sure. So as I was preparing for the trip, I shot a couple of different things, right? I shot the Hornady match ammo with the 134. I shot the Precision Hunter ammo with the 128 ELDX. And both shot well in my rifle, both sub-MOA, 5-shot groups, all that stuff. Real small mean radiuses on it and everything. The ELDX has shot a little better than the ELDMs.
I've personally seen that as well.
Okay. All right. So it's not just me then. Yeah. And that was kind of what I was leaning towards hunting more with anyway. So that was fine. But I was... so the range that I have real easy access to by my house goes out to 500 yards and just boom, 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 all the way out there with both of them, right? No problem at all. And another development that kind of happened in my life since you and I last talked was I bought into a bullet company. So I'm now...
let's go. Let's go.
And so I'm now a part owner in North Fork Bullets.
And hang on. Where's the website? Where do people find this at? Just tell us about North Fork.
All right. So northforkbullets.com is the website. Right.
Awesome.
You can buy them from there. You can buy them on Midway.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. Right. So they're not hard to find. They're only available as component bullets now. But bullet design, it is similar to, but not exactly the same as a trophy bonded bear claw. You have a solid rear shank, bonded front core.
Nice.
All right. So,
so how did you get into this deal? I want to stop for half a second because, man, just getting into businesses in this industry and bullets in general, where did that come from?
So they originally got started making big bore safari stuff. So that's a 375, right?
Yeah. That looks pretty awesome.
And awesome Africa stuff. Very highly regarded in Africa. They make solids. We make those bonded soft points. And of course, while we make a ton of them in 375 and 416 and whatnot, also make small caliber stuff. And the smallest caliber semi-spitzer, which is the bonded soft point, the smallest caliber we make is 25 caliber. And I was like, ooh, man.
Man, where's that 22? Come on.
Yeah. So we make a copper one in 22, but not a bonded soft point like that. Right. Because our bullets.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What weight is the solid copper 22?
You know, let me look at my catalog here, because I
didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Let's see here. It is 45, 62, and 78 grains.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So you need that fast twist that we got in the 22 Creedmoor though to make them work.
That's awesome.
But I saw that in our catalog. I was like, man, I can't go to Africa with a 25 Creedmoor and not at least try some of these out. So I loaded some 120s up, and a guy named Lonnie Cribb with Superior Ammunition in South Carolina made some hand loads for me. Cool. And it was one of these deals. Maybe it's partly his work, maybe it's partly the cartridge design, maybe it's the rifle, kind of maybe all of it there together. But he gave me a sample pack of like 3 different loads and said, all right, see what shoots best with you. Cool. And they all shot amazing. Like there was almost no change in accuracy between them. So I just went with the hottest one. And I was getting like 29-20, 29-30 with a 120 out of these.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, so it was hot, but not like, blazing fast or any of that stuff. And man, they were just stacking them on top of each other. And so my plan was, I was like, all right, I'm going to use some ELDXs, and I'm going to use these North Forks over there, see how they work. And first day of the hunt, I was hunting in the Free State, kind of high mountain, open country like that. And I was telling the guys, I was like, listen, I want a Vol reed buck. I know you got them here. I know there's good ones. I've never shot one before. I've never even seen one.
They're my favorite, man. They are just the coolest. I mean, it's like a llama. If you haven't seen one, go Google Vol Ray buck. It's like a llama with horns, and they are vicious little critters with each other. So anyway,
so they're maybe 60 pounds, something like that, like a little miniature llama like that. And you got horns like that long straight horns on them. They're kind of a funny looking animal. But we spotted some right as the sun was going down 800 yards away, made a stalk and got to about 275. Cool. And we kind of peeked up over this ridge, and they're right there. And I'm like, hey man, like I'm good to shoot from here. And my PH was like, all right, we had a little bit of a wind that's a crosswind. This is a small animal. I think we can get closer. So we circled down, got up, popped up. The wind died, so it was completely calm now, 200 yards. And I sat down, got on the tripod, and just just center punched him. And he kind of fell down, got up, and kind of rolled down the hill, and that was that. And so just awesome start to the hunt. Shot that with the semi-spitzer, with the 25 Creedmoor.
I'm guessing it just penetrated all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it just wrecked the inside of them and penetrated all the way through. I didn't recover any of these bullets from this hunt. So none of the North Forks. And so I was like, man, that is great. And went to Limpopo a couple days later, and I was one of the things I wanted to do on this hunt was I brought my 9-year-old son James with me. He was like, "Hey, Dad,
his first trip over there for him."
Yeah. So and he he's been hunting with me, but he never hunted himself, and so I was like, listen, you can hunt or not hunt. It's up to you. No pressure. But I was like, if you're going to hunt, you're going to do it right. We're going to practice and all of that stuff. And so, about 2 months before the hunt, he's like, all right, I want to hunt, Dad. I want to do it. And so I had him at the range. We shot with a 22. We shot with a 223. Moved up to the 22 Creedmoor, and he was doing well with that. And then when I decided I was going to take the 25, I was like, all right, let's see how you shoot with this. And I mean, just it certainly recoils more than the 22, but he handled it fine. And he was shooting it about as well as he was shooting the 22 as well. And so I had him, shooting off a bench at first, and then I had him shooting standing off of sticks. And I was like, this is how you're going to shoot when you're over there. And so, he got to the point where he was, 50, 75 yards. I mean, just, stacking them, say, inside of the bottom of a Coke can at that range. And so we were trying to hunt over a water hole at first. Hopefully an Impala come in, shoot one at a water hole. And it was one of those deals where we're at this water hole waiting for an Impala, and like everything but Impala is coming in, right? We're seeing we're seeing zebra, we're seeing warthog, we're seeing Inyala, all of this, and just no Impala. And at one point, I heard a branch crack behind me, and I kind of look over my shoulder. It's like, oh man, that is a really nice Inyala bull coming in.
Ooh, all right.
And I had the rifle set up in front of him on a tripod, and I was like, hey, buddy, I'm taking over from you.
I love it.
We're going to get you a shot later. And so every time that Inyala's head would go behind a tree, I'd move the tripod a little bit over to me, and I get it set up right as he kind of steps out into the open, and I just punch him straight through the heart at 30 yards. And he jumps and runs and then just falls over, and boom, that's it. And
30 yards, man, you had him close.
Yeah, it was.
Awesome.
It was. I mean, this was thick country in the Bushveld. I mean, very, very different from where I was in the Free State, where we spotted that reed buck at 700 yards. And just awesome performance on the bullet. But that's also kind of why I was using these North Forks, because I knew it was going to be a lot of high velocity, close range stuff in the Bushveld like that. And man, my PH was like, "You shot that thing with the Creedmoor?" I was like, "Man, like, don't act like I'm throwing spit wads at him, man." Like,
yeah, it's like everybody's got to have a bad thing to say about the Creedmoor. I'm like, come on,
yeah,
it never gets any love.
And so I was like, man, like, you shoot it well, and especially if you're using a good bullet, like that North Fork for that situation, like, it's fine. And so like that went great with that Inyala. Shot he was a real nice bull. And a couple days later, we kind of gave up on the water hole with my son because it just wasn't working with the Impala. I was like, all right, we're gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna walk around and all of that. And we got a shot for him on a big herd. Ran across the road in front of us, got him set up on the sticks, and they're kind of milling around in the bush. And it was one of these things that, like, if you kind of like laid down on the ground, you can see like 500 Impala legs down there, but it was so thick that you could barely see their bodies up here. And there was one gap in the bush that was maybe about as wide as a basketball. And I had him set up on the sticks, shooting down it. And one stepped out into it, and I was like, "Can you shoot it?" And he's like, "There's another one behind it." I was like, "Okay, wait." And like they both moved, and another one stepped in front, and he just squeezed the trigger, and boom, just hammered that thing about 50 yards. Awesome. And we had to crawl up on our hands and knees to where it was standing, and because it just disappeared. We heard it hit, but we didn't see where it went. And so we get up there, and there's blood everywhere on the ground, and just kind of look up, and it's 5 yards away right there. Perfect shot right through the heart. And so that was a proud dad moment where he did. Cool. I mean, he did it all, made a perfect shot. Could not have asked for better performance out of him. And that was an awesome way for kind of him to get started in the hunting world like that.
And Africa is such an amazing place. So my oldest boy is 13 now. My youngest is 6. And we're going, not next year, but the following year. So I booked for July of 2027 to take both of them. Because I wanted my youngest to be about the age of your son so we can kind of like actually take him and hunt over there. So it's a cool place.
And that's a nice way of doing it too, where like you're just a target-rich environment, so to speak. So if you don't have a good shot, just wait, and we'll get a better one.
Exactly.
No need to push a bad situation like that. Take a marginal shot.
Exactly. Well, so tell me, I'm going to loop back around. So North Fork, where are they manufactured, and like what is that like? What does your involvement look like there now?
So it was originally founded in the USA in Wyoming and ran from here for a long time. But the guy that was running it was like, "Hey, I want to retire." And so ended up selling it to someone else. They ran it for a little while, and they're like, "Okay, I want to retire." And so one of their dealers. Well, no, I'm not about to retire. No, we got some young guys running it now that are more than like we got a ways to go. In any case, one of our dealers in Sweden ended up.
Oh, cool.
He was so sad that the company was going away. He liked the bullets so much he decided to buy the company. So moved all the manufacturing to Sweden. So we make our bullets there now, and like this all. He had just horrible luck and horrible timing trying to buy the company right as COVID was kicking off. He made the deal, and then like 2 months later, it all just kind of went to pieces. But so it was longer and it was more painful than he wanted it to be, but we're up and running now. We're making bullets now. We're shipping all over the world, to include the United States. And so I came on basically, I think this spring, like April of 2025, and I do a lot of the marketing and whatnot for the company now. And so, I test our products versus other stuff and everything, and talk about it on the podcast and the blog and all of that. And so this hunt turned into a cool opportunity to both showcase our bullets and just kind of test out how they worked. And that little 120 grain 25 caliber bullet that was awesome. I was on a podcast hunt with a couple of listeners, and so I was hunting, and then all these other guys were also hunting while I was there.
Cool.
One guy shot a buffalo and killed it, and when he was done taking pictures with it and everything, I was like, "Hey, can I shoot this with the 25 Creedmoor? I just want to see what it's going to do."
Hey, that's cool.
And so we kind of propped this buffalo up, and I took a strongly quartering 2-shot straight through his shoulder blade, right through all the meat of his shoulder, all that stuff. That, the toughest shot you can take on an animal with that 120 North Fork from the 25 Creedmoor. And I was like, all right, I'm going to see what this bullet looks like. Well, I don't know what the bullet looked like because it punched through his shoulder blade, through his ribs, went through his chest, and just disappeared into his guts. And we never found it in there.
Gee, that's crazy.
And so I was amazed at how well that did. So, just so everyone's clear, right? It was a dead buffalo. I'm not saying I did a Roy Weatherby and killed one with the 25 Creedmoor, any of that stuff. But I was very impressed with how well it worked.
Well, man, it's funny to actually get a chance to do it on like real media. And I know some people are going to, whatever, but like we got into a deal, and I think it might have been one of your videos that encouraged me where I made some ballistic gel at home. And so I went to Walmart and bought like a gelatin bag, right? Okay. And bought some pans and made them and tested the 22 Creedmoor projectiles. Now I did, and some people got saucy on me a little bit, but instead of trying to get the block out and zip tie it so it didn't bounce all off the table, I just got really, really thin baking pans and just shot them in the pan. So it was like, thin, whatever, to help the bullet. The bullet obviously started to expand pretty immediately there. But man, it did such a better job of keeping the gelatin from not bouncing all over the place. And I was still able to recover the bullet. And so now I'm kind of like a little bit addicted to this ballistics gel thing. It's fun. It is crazy to be able to see like what you think happens with a bullet and then actually look at wound channel and, what it does. And so, it's been a really interesting thing. I haven't done it yet with the 25, but that's on my list because we've done now everything with the 22. And I'm kind of curious because I shot a mule deer this year with the 25. That's the first animal I've harvested with the 25 and the ELDXs. And man, it absolutely pancaked it. It wasn't very far, like about 100 yards. And it freaked me out a little bit because when I shot it, I knew about where I was aiming. I was like, well, I was in the upper third on this onside shoulder, and it dropped him like a high shoulder shot. But we went up there, and the middle of the back was just like, it looked like I had just barely clipped his back. Like, that doesn't make any sense, And the guy was like, oh, you barely got that one. And we got it cleaned. And while I was cleaning the meat, I found it in the offside shoulder, found the whole projectile, and I've got it at home. But the bullet went through, and I guess when it came through the first shoulder, it exploded in such a way that it more or less, exited out the top of the shrapnel exited out the top of the back. But the core went through the other bone and stayed in the shoulder. So pretty interesting. I was like, man, that's a vicious little bullet for an ELDX, and as fast as it killed it. Because I'm so used to 22 Creedmoor, everything is just really explosive when it hits, But anyway, it's pretty neat. It was neat for me to see that. And so,
I mean, that 22 Creedmoor is probably going about 500 feet per second faster than the 25. Yeah,
it's like Mach quick.
Yeah,
yeah. That's been, and that's the thing that got me. And I'll tell myself a little bit. I may even drop this video. I got a chance to go to Arizona on a coos deer hunt, and it was tough. I would tell you, it was tougher than I expected. We, put a lot of miles in. Basically rode a quad 2 hours up this river, and then basically hiked straight uphill and sat all day. Yeah. And I got one shot at a buck. There's about 90, probably a 90, 95 inch buck. It was at 8:39, and I completely misjudged the wind and shot in front of it. And dude, my elevation was money. I've been shooting that gun a lot. Like I said, it's the gun I'm taking to Mammoth. And I'm like, dang, I felt really bad, especially coming back home and telling Trooper, who's going to be my partner on the Mammoth deal. I'm like, I'm supposed to shoot the long stuff with this 25, and I just missed the deer at 800, 830. And I'm like, God, I should have been able to make that all day long. But, one thing I not make excuses. It's really interesting. And I love to talk with you about this offline, but the data that I got in the SIG and the data I was getting in the Kestrel were hugely different. Mostly on the wind call. And I can't quite figure out why the 10Ks are under judging my wind at all distances by about half. So I should have went with the Kestrel. I knew it better. I set it up, whatever. Still a cool hunt. But man, I really wanted to see what it would do at that distance on a deer. So I'm going whitetail hunting this weekend for Thanksgiving, and I've got to shoot something long range with the 25. So,
well, I shot the last animal I killed on this hunt was an impala. I shot it about 75 yards, and I shot it with the ELDX just because I couldn't take it there and not using the ELDX.
Yeah,
and kind of not strongly quartering to me, but it was quartering to me. Shot it right perfect on the shoulder, and he he was standing in a dirt road, and like there's real thick bushveld, road, real thick bushveld. And I shot him here, and he just jumped into the woods. And I went up and I saw where he kind of dug in and jumped on the ground. I was like, okay, this is where he was.
Yeah.
But I didn't find any blood. And we walked around in there, did not find a single drop of blood. But I mean, he went less than 50 yards away. He was dead in the woods. And bullet did not exit. Found just the jacket of it.
Yep.
I mean,
that's about what I found on my mule deer.
Yeah, about what you would expect with an ELDX, especially kind of a short-ish shot like that, like you and with me. And but I mean, when we opened him up, I mean, his lungs were just shredded. I mean, but that's kind of the problem with the ELDX at short range like that.
Well, and what's interesting, you said, because like it's something we've said a lot and told people on the 22. So let's talk about the 22, the match versus because the match and the X are the same grain weight. And what I've seen is if I shoot deer inside of 300, I couldn't tell you which bullet I shot them with. They look so much the same. But then at further distances, the X has always performed better for me. So I just always tend to shoot the X. And shooting them in ballistics gel, the wound channel was almost identical at 100 yards. The X just went maybe 3 inches more penetration than the M did with the jacket. So it was interesting to see. Like you said, at close distance, those things are violent. But and like you get a little further out, and they perform more like what I would expect. I think my bigger deal is just, for me, the 25 serves a really unique purpose. It's just a little slower than I like. For my normal stuff. So
yeah, and and these North Forks, while I'm a member of owner of the company, I love the bullets, all that stuff. This is about a 3, maybe 400 yard bullet. Yeah, and
what's the BC on that bullet?
It's sub 0.4 on it. Yeah. So I mean, it's like shooting a core lock or something like that in terms of BC. And you're shooting at something 200 yards, totally fine. Not an issue at all, but I mean,
sounds like a good pig bullet is what it sounds like.
Oh man, yeah. So I've shot I haven't shot pigs with the 25 cal, but I did with the 6.5 millimeter, and man, just absolutely hammers them, and great penetration, and once again, just wrecks the vitals of them like that, and it's also going to exit. Yeah. So it's one of these things, right? You got to just match your tool to the job. I wouldn't shoot something at 800 yards with that bullet, but it's better at closer range than a softer bullet is.
Yeah. Well, so what's so now what? So you've done the 25, you've done the 22. What's the next caliber or cartridge that you're curious about now that you're in the bullet space?
Well, yeah. So the thing I have loaded up in my gun right now, sighted in, ready to go, is the 6 Creedmoor, because I want to try and kill something with all of the Creedmoors, and that's the only one that I got left.
We should start like a punch card for that. Like you collect all the big game sheep, and you got the slam. There should be a Creedmoor slam, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and especially as some of these kind of cartridges continue to come out, I don't, who knows what we're going to see in the future with that stuff. But I have it sighted in with the Hornady match bullets. This is the 108 ELDM with the 6 Creedmoor, and I just need an opportunity to shoot something with it right now. Nothing's cooperating on my trail cameras right now, but I'm ready to go when the time comes.
That's awesome. We built my mom a 6 Creedmoor before the 25 was out, and she shot mule deer and antelope with it at pretty good distance. And with that 108, I was really impressed with that bullet. But the 6 Creed gets no love, man. We've only, the request for that, it's I hate to say it like this, but we have a difficult time selling that gun. But then when a guy gets it, he's super happy with it. It's like a really weird click.
It seems to be kind of the redheaded stepchild of the Creedmoor family, especially now that the 25 has come out.
Yep, exactly. But you still shoot the 22 much?
Oh, I do. Yeah. It's such a fun gun to shoot, man. What I'll often do is I'll go to the range with a couple guns and I'll shoot the big bore stuff. And then while I'm resting and letting the barrel cool and whatnot, I'll take a break with the 22 Creedmoor, because it doesn't beat me up nearly as much as the other ones do like that. But I like that your gun options and your ammo options are continuing to improve with that cartridge. And I actually literally just this week released a detailed comparison of the 22 and the 6.5 Creedmoor. Awesome. And I was shocked when I actually did the numbers at how well the 22 did in the wind, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Gosh, and what's so hard about it, it's like I want, with this mammoth competition, I wanted so bad to shoot the 22 Creed. We're the 22 Creed guys. We're doing stuff on. One of the guns has to be a 223 or a 308, so we're doing a 223. And like, man, I really want to shoot the 223 and the 22 Creed, but to get it where it performs the best, the velocity is over the speed limit. And so you're like, dang, so if you make it slower, you might as well pick up the 25 so that you have the higher BC projectiles, a little more impact on steel. So it's been a sad day for me because I like the laser out, to 400 yards, quick, no wind.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Now my impression was, and you could tell me if I'm right or wrong, that the 25 Creedmoor started basically as a cheat code for certain certain shooting competitions. Because you met, say, NRL Power Factor with certain loads with it, and it gave you just that little bit of an edge over the 6.5.
Yeah. Well, and what's hard, and I if Seth's listening, I gave him a hard time a little bit. I said, man, I wish the factory ammo was just a little bit quicker, because now with the factory ammo and NRL, it doesn't matter, right? So it's factory load, so you don't have to worry about power factor and all those kind of things. But still, my understanding is they still place you based on power factor if there's a tie. So somebody hand loading with that 25 on some of the recipes you were seeing still have a slight edge. It's just like 50, 60 feet slower than what I love to see it. But man, it's like, we were talking, I've got, boxes of it here. I'm about to go shoot. It's just too easy to buy the stuff that shoots good and goes on.
Yeah, it all worked right out of that Fanatic. Like I said, the ELDX was a little better in the match, but the match wasn't bad. It was still, I get that out of any other rifle, I'd be thrilled with it, and I'm only complaining about it because it's just not as good as something else I shot. And
and you and I talked about offline, and we saw JBB talk about this, and we saw Jim talk about this too, that for some reason, and Colton actually, but Yoey had mentioned this to me as well, all of us have seen our 25 shoot better with a suppressor. And it doesn't matter. And it's not like, oh, that one model or that model. No, this is like probably between you and me, Colton, Jim, JBV, and it are all different models, actually, now that I think about it. Different models, different barrel length. I've just seen a little bit better grouping with various different suppressors. I'm using a Thunder Beast Ultra 9 on mine, and, I can tell not a huge difference, but enough that I'm like, well, I'm only going to shoot it suppressed anyway, so...
Yeah. In the United States, I primarily use a Banished Backcountry on mine.
Oh, yeah, sure,
And then I didn't bring my own suppressor to Africa. I used just one of the ones they had there, and it was just some random South African 30 cal can, and it also was great with it. So.
What did you think about the suppressors over there?
So I've used several different ones over the years, and I think the first one I ever shot over there was in 2016. So that was near 10 years ago. Jeez. They've gotten a lot better. Since then.
But they're not near what's over here.
No, you don't have that lightweight titanium stuff or any of that.
Well, that backcountry, we were running it on the 7, backcountry, and it's pretty dang quiet, and so when we went over to Africa, I didn't take my suppressor last year either. We just literally stopped it like it was like a feed store that had a gun thing in it. And the guy was like, oh, we went in and bought a couple of suppressors and put them on there. They were super tinny. Like, they were better than not having one, but just barely.
Yeah.
The technology over here was just so much better. So,
yeah, it is interesting how different, like the way that we treat them over here, it being kind of a not disposable product because they're such more difficult to get. I think that'll be changing soon with the new laws and whatnot. But because of that, more refinement has gone into them, and they're lighter and yada yada yada, and they last longer, and you get them titanium and all of that. But I think one for one, it's definitely a higher quality suppressor here. But if I had to make a choice where I could just buy one so much easier and it's a lot less expensive, but it's not quite as nice, I don't know which one I would go with, honestly.
I know, and I just wish over here it could be. It's so weird to me. It's not treated like a shotgun choke. Like I just don't understand why it's not a choke. Like blister pack, put them on the shelf. Let me buy one for every gun and just go on with it, because I'm sure you being in the industry too, I have high frequency in one ear is pretty much gone, but I wear earmuffs all the time, but it's still not the same, I wish and so my boys, they just don't know shooting without shooting with a suppressor. And, it's kind of hope we get that taken care of. And we're working on some stuff. Hopefully, you come by and see us at SHOT Show. We should have this launch, but doing some partnership with those guys over there at Silencer Coke. I always get them Silencer Central, Silencer Coke. I get them wrong. Silencer Central. Yeah. And doing a 22 Creedmoor, 25 Creedmoor specific can. So been about a year worth of development, and it might look a lot like the barrel on your Fanatic.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have a matching suppressor for that thing.
Yeah, so your branding has got to match with everything. That's good though, man.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't have like a non-flashy can with a flashy barrel.
Game recognized game with the marketing, man. So good job.
I love it. That's good. That's good.
And it all just one last thing about 25 Creedmoor. My Fanatic has a 22-inch long barrel. Advertised velocities were at or above actual velocities were at or above advertised with it. So at least right now, I'm not dealing with the 7 PRC issue or any of that stuff.
Man, and I don't see that either. And of course, the 7 PRC for us, it's still a big top contender, but we do so many more of the small cartridges. And I even think like for us, people are asking or saying, well, the 25 hasn't taken off like I expected it to. I don't know. We are doing a lot of 25s and a lot of 22s. And then still a good amount of 7s. And then, I would say the backcountries are still, pretty strong. The backcountries have had their things. They got the ammo, figured out and right. And again, we've had some tight chambers. And I say tight chambers is really just, you're 80,000 PSI. Like they're hard to lift the bolt sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. But we've not had all the weird case head cracking and stuff other people have. In fact, like I've got a pistol version in one, and it's hard to be mad at it, but I gotta like it being short. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's just so close to being really cool.
Well, it's such new technology. I think there's going to be some growing pains, and then we're going to figure them out. And in 10 years, it's going to be a different world. And I think that's going to be the way things are with it.
That's what I think. And again, not knocking on anybody in general. It's just I love how, and it seems like in this industry, it's so interconnected, and it's fun. Like there's like friendly competition, but then people also like the industry's rooting for people to do new things because then it allows space for all of us to do new things. And so, I agree with you. I think that it's neat to see technology or materials being pushed, and if that's where it ends up, awesome. If that causes something else new, that's awesome as well. I like. The guys at Hornady, in my opinion, they think so much about projectiles, which is what I love because I'm kind of wired that way. We forcefully reloaded some backcountries with the 175 Hornadies, and I'm like, now that's a combination that would be amazing.
Man.
But they're hard to reload, and you can't get the red tips in those things yet. But man, they shot really, really well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So you get that speed with a high BC Hornady bullet, man, and you're getting the best of both worlds with it.
I know, especially like where we're at, and you understand in Texas, it's like I don't need long barrels anymore. I want everything to be short. We get asked all the time, we've starting to play with some SBRs or folders. Like it's just I see the industry just continually going after shorter and shorter, barrels. But anyway.
And you talk about bullets and stuff too, especially with Hornady. I don't know what's going to happen with the 25 Creedmoor itself, but I think these bullets are going to unlock the 25 caliber bore diameter, and it's going to breathe new life into it that we have never seen, man.
I know. I'm going to show you. And again, we haven't got it quite worked out yet, but.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay. Wait.
25 PRC. See, I've been wondering if we were going to see one of those.
I don't know if we'll see it on the factory side. We're trying. It's hard to reload for. It really is. But I've got a 7x65 PRC, and so we spun up a couple. They're accurate, hard to reload for, accurate and super fast. But I love how Hornady leads with the projectiles though, because exactly like you said. Your head immediately goes to, oh well, man, now a 25x6 is kind of interesting, or maybe a 25x7 PRC could be interesting. So I think it's always fun to tinker with that stuff. So all right, John, what is we talk about shooting the 25. You've been to Africa last year. You absolutely nailed what was on your horizon. So what do you got? What are you calling out now?
All right, so good question. So in the immediate, like the real short horizon, I'm trying to give some love to the 6 Creedmoor and fill out the Creedmoor punch card. I've got the 22, I've got the 25, I got the 6.5. I've shot the 6, I've just never killed anything with it. So that's what I'm trying to do here in the short term. 2026 going to Wyoming for antelope. Haven't worked out a lot of the details with what I'm going to use on that. 25 would work fine. I don't know if that's going to be the case. That'll actually use it though. Going to Africa, probably again in the future, maybe 27.
Again, dang.
I go to Africa a lot. I mean, that is a wonderful place where I kind of made my name doing stuff. Cool. And I also just really like hunting there.
All right, so I have to ask. So you're going to Africa again. You got an antelope hunt coming up. We've talked on the small boar side of it, boy. So North Fork size, what's the biggest bullet you make?
So we make a wide range of stuff, say in our semi-Spitzer line, the Bonded soft point that is our flagship. It is basically everything from 25 caliber up through 4.74 caliber on that. Nice. So the 470 nitro. And then we make solids and or just an expanding copper bullet from 22 caliber up through 510 caliber. So 500 nitro.
So you have to go to Africa. I mean, it's like, you know, I think you need to take that 510 on your antelope hunt. That's what we need to do here.
So our lightest bullet is 45 grains, and our heaviest is 600 grains.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Man, now, I would be curious myself to see some content on a 600 grain bullet on an antelope. Let's go.
You know, I'm sure it would work. And I'm sure somebody's done it before. I remember seeing, who was the guy's name? Ivan Carter talked about, of course, he made his name and is primarily an African PH and all of his work there. But he said offhand in one of his shows that he went on an elk hunt with his 470 nitro and killed an elk with his double in the USA.
I love it. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, and again, I appreciate you being on the podcast every time, man. It's fun to have a fellow Texan on. You're just right down the road. We're going to see you at SHOT Show this year?
I am nominated for a Gundy at the SHOT Show.
Man, congratulations!
So, thank you. Podcast of the year. So
nice.
If this episode comes out while voting is on, vote for John McAdams Podcast of the Year. And if I make the top 5, I'm probably going to go to SHOT Show, and then I'll see you there. But I haven't made firm plans for SHOT Show. I will definitely. Thank you. But I'll definitely be at SCI in Nashville.
Cool. I mean, God, SCI is one that I wish that we, looked at and did. We dropped out of Dallas Safari Club. We've done that for years and years and years. Atlanta just wasn't the same. And for us still being a small and growing company, we're trying to, really work on the dealer base that we've got, advertising around those. And shows are just expensive, hard to get around and be in multiple places at once. So this year we're only, hope everybody, when this comes out, you come see us at Cowboy Christmas. That's a big show for us every year in Vegas. Love that show. And then SHOT Show, and then we roll right into our buying group season. And for me, it's like whirlwind, just get me through this time of year and get me to hunting season. or not hunting season, get me to coyote hunting season. Yeah. It's time to do some predator calling, right? You
got to get back to your roots with that 22 Creedmoor, man.
I know. We're thinking about doing we love working with the West Texas Big Bobcat contest every year, and I want to do it. And I've always been so busy, but we're threatening that we're going to put together a team and see if I can't compete in that one.
For the Texas, I mean, you of course will sell to people wherever they are, but you are primarily a Texas-based, Texas-focused company. Yeah. I mean, both the 22 and the 25, I think, are great Texas cartridges. Yeah. They'll work great on coyotes and bobcats, feral hogs, white-tailed deer, like everybody's hunting here. Yeah,
exactly, man. Well, dude, John, I appreciate it so much. And guys, be sure and like and subscribe on our channel. Like we talked about, YouTube has been a little pinchy on some of the stuff that we've been working on here. So trying to grow our channel back. Be sure and let us know some things you'd like us to talk about, things you'd like to see. We really enjoyed the feedback that we got on our ballistics gel video, and we'll be doing a lot more of that. Until next time, guys, we appreciate it. We'll catch you later.